Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. And today we have another video for you guys from Swagkage. And this one, I'm honestly surprised I didn't make this video before, but we're going to be talking about probably the most iconic technique. Maybe you could say even more iconic than the Rasengan or the Chidori when it comes to Naruto, which is the Shadow Clones. And again, like I said, I'm surprised I didn't already make a video reacting to this before. So let's go ahead and let's listen to an explanation of the Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Well, this video is gonna be about Sage Mode, but, that's actually a really good idea. So, alright, here we go. The Shadow Clone technique is a B-rank ninjutsu created by the second Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, Tobirama Senju. While there aren't many clone techniques that are derived directly from the Shadow Clone Jutsu, it's possible that the Shadow Clone Jutsu itself was derived from Hashirama Senju's Wood Clone technique.
Right.
It's never been confirmed anywhere, but it does make sense considering Tobirama is Hashirama's brother, and he saw Hashirama use the Wood Clone technique all the time in battle. Regardless, every variant of the Shadow Clone technique shares one common purpose, and that is to create a doppelganger or multiple doppelgangers of the user for whatever reason the user has in mind. This can be for reconnaissance, for creating a distraction in battle, for overwhelming an enemy through the strength of sheer numbers, etc. Shadow clones are also a very valuable asset for training, as any knowledge that a shadow clone gains will be directly transferred to the user of the technique whenever that shadow clone is dispersed. This can potentially cut down the amount of time needed to train to learn a new technique by a factor of however many shadow clones are created, and it is incredibly useful when training under a time restraint. In battle, shadow clones act exactly as you'd expect them to. They are a direct copy of whoever created them, and as a result, they have access to all of the techniques of whoever spawned them.
So this to me is very, very interesting. So I want to talk about this for a second, what he just said. Let's go back. Okay.
Are created, and it is incredibly useful when training under a time restraint.
So what he just said right here, training under a time restraint, that to me is very, very smart. Is very, very smart from Kishimoto, because it reminds me of what Toriyama did in Dragon Ball, where he introduced the Room of Spirit and Time, where he said that if you go in here, you'll get an entire year's worth of training in just one day. And I thought that that was a smart writing move from Toriyama, because he gave a good explanation as to how characters got so strong so quickly. And it's something to where I wonder why certain characters in the future don't use it, other than Goku and Vegeta, to explain how they were able to get so strong so quickly, as opposed to just say, oh, they were just training off screen. They didn't use the Room of Spirit and Time or anything. No, they were just training outside. And somehow they were able to power cliff every antagonist we've ever met by just 1 or 2 days training outside, which, how that makes sense, I don't know, but all right, whatever.
Clones act exactly as you'd expect them to. They are a direct copy of whoever created them, and as a result, they have access to all of the techniques of whoever spawned them.
And that, to me, I think is one of the reasons why the Shadow Clone techniques is so goddamn useful, because like he just said, they have the abilities of the original, all the abilities, which is very, very interesting because, so, okay, imagine it like this. Say someone has the Rinnegan, right? And you know the Rinnegan affords you a lot of broken abilities. Now imagine someone like Nagato, who is, I think if I remember correctly, he was confirmed to be an Uzumaki. So basically that means they have a larger than average chakra pool, which means this, just like Naruto, they'd be able to make a bunch of clones of themselves. Imagine Nagato using the Shadow Clone Jutsu and each clone possessing all of the abilities of the Rinnegan. Think about that. Like, think about how dangerous that would make them, which is one of the reasons why I've always wondered, like, okay, hold on. The Shadow Clones all have the ability of the original. If that's the case, then theoretically, Sasuke could make 6 clones of himself, surround an enemy, each of them use the Preta path and just immediately absorb them with all of their chakra. And then boom, it'll be game over. Or any of the other abilities. So wouldn't that mean that he creates 6 clones and each of them could use the animal path to each summon an animal? And then you'd have an entire army of them. Or he could make 10 clones and each of them use Shinra Tensei. Like, the force of that could be insanely, it could be insanely powerful. So yeah, it's just I wonder again. I could be wrong here, but I do wonder if maybe that's the reason why he never had a Rinnegan user use the shadow clone jutsu, because he realized, okay, yeah, like if that's the case, they would it would make them pretty unstoppable. So I don't know, just something to think about.
While a shadow clone will share the personality and thought patterns of its creator, it does not act under the direct control of it.
Also, before anyone says, yes, I know that when you create a shadow clone, you're sharing your chakra equally among all of them, so the force of them wouldn't be as strong as it would be with the original, but still, you would think that coming from all directions would still make it pretty hard to defend against that. I know that before someone decides to come at me at the comment section.
Its creator. Shadow clones can and often will act of their own free will, though this will is generally the same as that of the user of the technique. Additionally, shadow clones are not bound by any range.
Notice interviewed as in different clones to multiple different countries at once during the Fourth War, and still seemingly no drawbacks at all. Yeah.
Range limit, and this means that they can stray as far away from their creator as they wish. Furthermore, shadow clones can create their own sub-shadow clones, which act as normal shadow clones do, with pretty much no difference. The technique is limited by the fact that chakra must be distributed evenly amongst all of the clones created by the user, which means that not only is each individual shadow clone handicapped, but additionally the user is left with a handicap as well, as when the shadow clones are destroyed, the user will be left with a fraction of their chakra. Thankfully, this chakra deficit doesn't actually affect the physical abilities of the shadow clones, as each clone is just as strong as the person who created them is. Furthermore, it is possible to work around this limit by willingly releasing shadow clones, as when a shadow clone is willingly released by the user, then the amount of chakra contained within that clone will be returned to the user upon its release. Now, releasing a shadow clone before it's destroyed can be a bit easier said than done, as most of the time, shadow clones will be destroyed with just one powerful hit, but it does seem that the durability of one's shadow clones can be increased with training. Naruto's shadow clones were able to go toe-to-toe with Kage level opponents before they were destroyed, so your mileage may vary. As a matter of fact, Madara even managed to figure out a way to create a shadow clone that would never disappear, which he left in his casket to keep Hashirama and Tobirama under the impression that he was dead. As you can tell, the technique is very versatile, but it does offer a few more utilities that I haven't mentioned here. Itachi Uchiha has shown the ability to turn shadow clones into bombs. The third Hokage has shown the ability to use the technique on objects as opposed to himself, leading to the creation of the Shuriken shadow clone technique, one of the most lethal techniques in the entire series. And various characters have shown the ability to swap places with a shadow clone with the substitution technique. This by no means covers all of the different things that can be accomplished with the shadow clone technique, but I'm pretty sure...
Something I want to check just real quick. What does it say? So, okay, this is interesting because if you remember, I talked about in one of the previous videos how it just seems a little bit weird to me that certain people with powerful dojutsu, like there are times where they can't tell whether what's in front of them is a clone or the original. And people have said that, you know, the whole point of the Shadow Clone Jutsu is that it's supposed to be an exact copy of the original. Well, that's true. But again, someone with powerful dojutsu should be able to see that. And in fact, look at this. Madara himself even said that he was the only one who could tell the difference between a wood clone and the original. So it is possible to tell the difference between the original and a clone if you are someone who possesses powerful dojutsu, which to me is one of the reasons why, if you remember the near the end of the Ishiki fight, when he got tricked by Kawaki's clone, my criticism of that is that he's someone who possesses the Byakugan, which is, I mean, seriously, the Byakugan's kind of broken when you think about it. Yeah, it may not have as much versatile techniques as, let's say, the Sharingan or the Rinnegan, but it is still kind of broken when you think about it. The fact that he could not tell what was in front of him was a clone is what kind of bothered me about that. And then people responded with, well, a clone's supposed to be a copy of the original, but like I said right here, it is possible with powerful dojutsu to tell the difference between a clone and the original. So again, that's what always bothered me about that. Just wanted to...
By no means covers all of the different things that can be accomplished with the shadow clone technique.
In fact, when Madara mentioned this, that he was the only one who could see it, that was the thing that worked against him near the end of their fight at the Final Valley, because if you remember, Madara was at a point where he used up so much chakra, he had to his visual prowess wasn't as powerful as it could have been, and Madara was able to trick him with a wood clone. Like again, and Hashirama I think knew this. He knew that Madara could tell the difference between a clone and the original, and he waited until Madara was weakened and his dojutsu wasn't as powerful to use a wood clone to trick him.
Places with a shadow clone with the substitution technique. This by no means covers all of the different things that can be accomplished with the shadow clone technique, but I'm pretty sure it paints a decent picture for you. I apologize for the short length of the video, but that's due to the fact that there's not really a whole lot to cover with the shadow clone technique. While it's certainly not simple, it's certainly more simple than a lot of the other aspects of the Naruto universe, so explaining it isn't too difficult or too time-consuming. Of course, if I did leave anything out, then feel free to ask me in the comments below, but I think I did a pretty good job covering everything, so I'm gonna end the video here. This has been Swagkage. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe, and then hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Till then, I'll talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.
Okay, so that's the video. Okay, so yeah, that is a video explaining the shadow clones. So I'm hoping that a lot of people won't have any more questions as to what the shadow clone jutsu actually does, what are its benefits, some of its disadvantages. Let me know your thoughts, guys, as always, in the comment section down below. Remember to also leave a like, not just on this video, but also go to Swag's video, watch it, like it, leave a comment to help him out with the algorithm. Not that he needs it considering where he is now, but still go support him either way. And consider doing the same for my video, and also subscribing, leaving a comment, leaving a like or dislike while it's still here. Thanks, YouTube. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.